AJ Styles may be retiring as soon as Royal Rumble, and it has got fans in an absolute frenzy. Why so soon? Why Gunther? He deserves a farewell tour. We're going to talk about all of it today as we go through the top 5 things that happened on Monday Night Raw, January 19th. Big up, everyone. It's your boy Mekz, the WrestleManiac. I'm alongside my guy Dell. And this was, I guess, the end of the televised leg of the European tour. We had a Raw, which I think was started hot, maybe fell a bit in the middle, and then ended hot. Just as an overview, Dell, how did you see this episode of Monday Night Raw?
This episode of Monday Night Raw, for me, really sold what European fans were about. I think that's the biggest takeaway from last. I say last night is pretty much yesterday evening. Not too late for us. Obviously, it's been a nice European tour. Not having to stay up to the early hours in the morning to watch things, but yeah, I thought it was a great episode. Plenty going on, from titles to Rumble announcements to people declaring for title matches, etc., etc. But yeah, man, excited to talk all things WWE.
Yeah, it was a very good show, like I said, with the main event, I think especially, and that was a hot kind of start as well. Yeah, we're gonna get into it. All the usual bits, the top 5 things. Like, subscribe, comment, all of that usual jazz. And we will start with, like I said, probably what is one of the hotter stories coming out of Monday Night Raw. Gunther came down to the ring. Gunther was one of many on the night that kind of went to declare himself for the Rumble and was interrupted by AJ Styles, who, absolutely read, couldn't believe, obviously, the shenanigans that Gunther pulled in their match last week. And AJ Styles, he said he was going to run it past his missus first, but he basically signed up to having his rematch with Gunther. And Gunther said, only under the condition that if I beat you, you will retire. That is it. That is the end of AJ Styles. Later on in the night, we saw backstage that AJ Styles had got the okay from his missus. His missus, in fact, said, go and kick his ass. And that is it. It's been penned in by Adam Pearce at the Royal Rumble. It will be Gunther. It will be AJ Styles. It is the rematch. And if AJ Styles loses, then that is it. AJ Styles is done. He retires. He calls it a day. Now, like I said, there's been a bit of a frenzy with fans because they think, why is this happening so soon? Like I've been saying for weeks now, I think this is an AJ Styles decision. Now, in fact, let me start again. I don't feel like AJ Styles is going to retire at the Rumble. But if he does, it's an AJ Styles decision. He's already said, I'm retiring in 2026. In fact, he said, I'm not going to be wrestling when I'm 50. Yeah, he's still, I think, 2.5 years, 2 years or 18 months away from being 50.
Yeah.
He's brought that back further. He said, I'm retiring in 2026. He's pulled it in further. He said, I'm not having a farewell tour like John Cena. For me, this guy just doesn't want to wrestle anymore. He's done. He's knackered. And we don't know what his body is feeling. I feel like fans, of course, they want him to have the grand goodbye, but we don't know how his body is feeling. He wants to call it a day and seemingly call it a day pretty urgently. Now, I think there's some really nice symmetry if he does retire in the Royal Rumble. If we remember, he debuted in the Royal Rumble, in the actual Royal Rumble match 10 years ago, 2016. So this is a 10-year career in the WWE, and he just calls it, literally on the nose at the same event 10 years later. What I think may be happening is AJ Styles wins this match, and then they go to WrestleMania, one last one, Gunther versus AJ Styles, and maybe that's the retirement. Gunther beats him at WrestleMania, and he calls it a day there. Big stage, Las Vegas. I don't want to see Gunther lose because I think he's on a bit of a tear right now. But there has to be a reason that straight out of John Cena, they have pushed AJ Styles to the forefront of kind of being the Gunther, adversary, and potentially now retiring against Gunther. So I think it's very possible it happens at Royal Rumble. I don't think it will. I will say WrestleMania, but at the same time, I feel like AJ is done. AJ is not want to continue this, and he doesn't want to sell people on a retirement tour or a farewell tour. And I think that's the most important thing as to why he's kind of looking like, let's just wrap this up, sort of thing. Del, how do you see all of this?
I agree with you. I think they're going to have the Mania match, but I think it's going to play out slightly different for me, man. What I think is personally going to happen, I think AJ is going to win. I think he is then going to eliminate Gunther from the Royal Rumble. I think following on from that, Gunther is going to get in the ring and absolutely annihilate AJ. Like, I think he's going to beat the absolute daylights out of him, write him off TV. I think Gunther gets a some sort of championship opportunity at your Elimination Chamber. AJ Styles returns, attacks Gunther. They set up the Mania match, and he retires after losing to Gunther at WrestleMania. It adds more heat to Gunther for being this sort of the modern day actual legend killer. And AJ Styles gets to tie things up, and he has a little break in between now and when he retires.
All very possible. All very possible. So you're basically saying he will beat Gunther in their match at Royal Rumble and then actually enter the Royal Rumble match.
Yeah, because I think if he loses the match, then technically, really he can't enter the Royal Rumble because that would be his retirement.
Yeah.
Because bro, if he loses this match and then he jumps in the Royal Rumble, I'm gonna be pissed.
So he goes as he's running down. He's like, one more, telling the fans,
one more. Please.
Yeah. It's. I mean,
here's the thing for me. I feel sorry for AJ. I can see he is done. Like you can see it, bro. Do you know what? Here's the thing for me. When I see he's walking up the steps, he looks in pain, bro. Like when he's walking up the steps into the ring, he looks in pain. Whereas when he debuted, he was just this bouncy, just not Javon Evans bouncy. But yeah, here's the thing though. I will say, I think it's great that Gunther is going to retire him, and if they go ahead, I think it is great because it's just someone else to add fuel to this demonic hill that they're playing in Gunther. He was literally like a Bond villain, like a Batman villain. Like I don't know how. Like I think he's. I have to say my half to Gunther though, man. Jesus,
yeah, he's brilliant,
bro. He's playing. They literally said to him, Gunther, go out there and be a dick. Yeah, and he's just like, cool, I got you.
Literally,
like he goes out there and just absolutely smashes it out the park, bro. Like the story he manages to tell with this new, like. It's almost like a more sadistic side of Gunther. Like once he lost it's almost like he lost his world title and he just does not care about anything now apart from hurting on people. So yeah, it's been great to see his development. But yeah, I think if not Rumble, then definitely WrestleMania, he will be retiring AJ Styles.
Yeah, I done a video on this about maybe a week ago on my channel, just basically saying if Gunther isn't going to be the guy that wins championships and stuff, what do we do with him in between? And it's giving him these big prize fights. Like I'm not just getting in the ring to, squabble with, respectfully, your Sami Zayn's and all these other kind of guys. I am going to have big marquee matches, ending careers and stuff of that if I'm going to be doing stuff outside of winning championships. So they're finding that kind of middle ground for Gunther now. I think even the fact that Gunther is going to potentially be the one to retire AJ Styles, it's not sitting well with some people in the fan base. Some people would maybe prefer, again, the younger name, the younger talent, whoever that is. Some people still want to see like an AJ Styles, Finn Balor feud ender or, Bullet Club adjacent story between these two. And I hear all of that, but I think as a fan base, and maybe it's some stuff that haven't happened within the WWE universe, it's interviews that AJ's done elsewhere and stuff like that. I keep coming back to the Chris Van Vliet interview he done earlier last year. You could tell from how he was saying things and what he was saying, bro, I am here because they either need me to be here or I've still got a contract. Otherwise, I would be done already. I think he's really ready to just move on to the next stage of his career. And as fans, we need to respect that. Maybe at that point, he should have told WWE, maybe let's say 2 years ago, I am winding down. Let's put together this fantastic story that fans want to see as a farewell tour. And that could have almost been the blueprint for them, what they went on to do with Cena. But yeah, I think we just really need to take the hints as a fan base that this guy doesn't want to be doing this anymore. He wants to maybe still be fit and healthy for his children, for his wife. You mentioned, him not looking his sharpest. I still think he looks sharp. I'm here wondering, but you look fine. Like you're doing everything all right. Like
that's what I mean. In ring, he looks fine, but when he's actually walking around, like this guy's still pulling off like 450s and stuff at his age. Like it's nuts. And then he's walking up the steps and he looks like his knees are in agony. And I'm just like, this is nuts, bro. He's a freak of nature.
Yeah. He's been a joy to watch for all these years. Like I said, 10 solid years in the WWE. If he does call it a day at Royal Rumble, it is full circle. Enter in the Royal Rumble, exit via Royal Rumble, and you're done, sort of thing. But yeah, we've got to see where this goes. Another story that I guess they've fast tracked somewhat. Maxine and Natalia. So Maxine had an IC title match against Becky Lynch in Belfast. The crowd was super obviously hot for this for the Irish Becky Lynch. Good match. I feel like since Maxine won, and then they've had a couple of rematches since, they haven't hit that plateau. Just been standard matches since. But this one we had Natalia, who is obviously been Maxine's kind of coach figure, come down to the ring with Maxine. And I thought Maxine would lose. I didn't think he'll be at the hands of Natalia. In that aspect is where I think they've kind of rushed telling this story. And put it this way, I feel like somewhat they've told this story backwards. I feel like we should have been seeing Dungeon Natty, or how she is on the indies, Natty, kind of putting Maxine through her paces, beating Maxine up to make her tougher, make her stronger, building her towards the IC title. Eventually, she beats Becky Lynch for the title. Has a little run with Natty now on screen, on her side, and then Natty gets jealous of her. I taught you all of this sort of thing, and you're not kind of paying homage to me. You haven't given me a title shot. And then Natty turns on her then. And then Natty beats Maxine for the title and then has a little run with it. And then maybe Becky could beat Natty to take them back to doing, what seemingly is going to be Becky versus AJ at WrestleMania. But yeah, I feel like they've kind of, they've made Maxine strong, made her win the title, put her back in the dungeon in front of Natty. She beats Natty in the dungeon, comes back out here, loses the title, and now Natty's screwing her. Like, I feel like they've told this story in a bit of a backwards way. I don't know if you agree.
I think this is all a long-term story plan. I think what they're going to do with this, I think they're going to have Natty almost play it as, I was doing this to you because you were pinning her by the ropes, almost like a learning curve. I beat you up to beat like the softness out of you to make you tougher. I think Maxine ends up winning the title. I think like you said, Natty then ends up becoming her on-screen sort of manager almost. And we start to see, like you said, more of this Indies Natty. And then after that, I think Natty then turns on her, like you said, and gets super jealous after she wins the title and everyone's celebrating her. And then Natty finally turns on her, and we get Maxine versus Natty at the WrestleMania in Vegas.
So
that's how I think it plays eggs out.
You think Natty right now beat the crap out of her, but hasn't turned on her?
No, I think that's how I think she's gonna play it. I think she's gonna be like this is to like, because you saw how like dark those training sessions were, and I think that's how they're gonna play this. It's just like it's gonna bring out Maxine's sinister side. They could they potentially turn Maxine? I don't know. They could potentially turn Maxine with this, and have both of them sort of heelish in the end, but it's hard to turn her against a Becky Lynch who plays such a great heel, even in amongst our own people, played a great damn heel.
Mm,
She's so good
yeah.
at what she does.
No, Becky's
But
very good.
Maxine, I just feel sorry for her because it kind of feels like her story just consistently so stop start, man. And it's just like she gets the title, now she's lost the title, and now she's so yeah. I think they've got to be smart with how they play this because I think it's great that we're getting this like dark side of Natty, but like I want Natty going around effing people up, not like putting people's legs on ropes. Like get out of here, man.
Yeah, it's even with her, like within, well, okay, put it this way: Triple A is now a WWE product, right? And she goes over to Triple A and she's Natty. She's
Yeah,
not Natalia as we saw her last night.
yeah.
She's Natty with her whole mixed martial arts, UFC looking get up and all of that kind of stuff.
She got the braided hair. She looked like she's on
She's a
smoke.
different character
Yeah.
within the WWE universe because Triple A is now in the WWE universe, and then she comes here and she's Natalia. Like it's very weird. Like I definitely feel like the minute they kind of let her do that on Triple A, that's when they should have let her start doing more of the dojo stuff with Maxine. Like Maxine's entire story is I'm actually allowed to be green on TV because we've told you guys I'm learning how to wrestle, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like we know there's a connection between those two. They should have showed us the dojo stuff, and then it gets Maxine to a point of challenging for the IC belt. And even more so, why I think the turn should have come when Maxine was champion is because of the affinity that the Intercontinental belt has to the Hart family. You know, with Owen being champion and Brett being a champion of that belt and stuff like that. Natalia's gonna think this belt belongs to my family. Like, why haven't you, as my mentee, given me an opportunity at winning this belt, or whatever the case is? And that makes her angry. Like, I'm happy that Maxine's getting on TV, and I want to see Natalia on TV as Natty, as opposed to this Natalia character. And I want to see her have an IC title run as Natty because I think she'll be great. You know, just coming in the ring every week, open challenge, beating every woman in the division. I think that would be great. But how they're telling this particular story right now, I just feel is a bit topsy-turvy all over the place.
Do you know what I think they have to do with this? I think they have to have you, like you said, have Maxine, have Natty come out in her get up, and then that's how I think they have to play with Maxine. Is that they also find their way of showing her sinister side, because I think the biggest thing about Maxine is, like you said, she's been so green, like since she started, and she's been this happy-go-lucky, and she does the one backwards because it looks a lot better than her doing the one forwards. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many like great things in which like we've seen from. You know, I'll be honest. It's been refreshing to see. It has been, like, in terms of her development from promos to in-ring to, you know, just being able to tell a story as part of the WWE product. I think it's been great to see her development from that side of things. But now it's like, I want to see how she can tell a story in-ring. Like, because she's done such a great job in telling her story to get into the title. But now this is almost like a redemption arc. Like, Natty's beating you up, yeah? Can you now prove to her that you ain't no fool? Like, I think they have a couple of matches, one or two. I think that this then pushes on from that. And I think, like I said to you, I think Natty is someone who I don't know if I can heap enough praise on. Like, everyone who I've ever spoken to always speaks very highly about Natty. So I think it's important for her to get, like you said, this IC title run. But like you said, the story's very topsy-turvy at the moment. But if they're able to tell this story right, I think it could be something really special.
Yeah, they can course correct. I like within the idea of what we were talking about, of almost maybe Maxine, you know, taking this as, yes, I was still too soft. Let me harden up, let me toughen up and stuff like that. Go back after the IC title. Even if these two had like a tag team run together, I'll be into that sort of thing. But yeah, I think we just need to kind of align the story a bit more and everyone that's in the story, because yeah, I guess we're gonna see next week or so. Maybe this plays out in the Rumble. Maybe Maxine gets the best of Natalia in the actual Rumble match, eliminates her, whatever. But yeah, I think it's good that both of them are here and doing stuff, but we just need to make it make a bit more sense. And talking about making things make a bit more sense, we're moving on to this trios match between the Vision and three spectacular luchadors in Rey Mysterio, Penta, and Dragon Lee. Now, there wasn't much of a story to tell or something that mattered from this particular match, I would say, per se. We saw at Austin Theory, he went to cheat with the Knuckle Dusters. The referee clocked him. Adam Pearce clocked him. Adam Pearce took those Knuckle Dusters, left them on the side of the ring while he was arguing with Paul Heyman. Rey Mysterio took the Knuckle Dusters, a bit of Eddie Guerrero lie cheating still. Punched, was it Logan Paul in the face with the Knuckle Dusters before Penta put him away, put Austin Theory away later on. No, he punched Austin Theory, got rid of Logan Paul from the ring, and Bronson Reed was already on the outside. And then Penta gave Austin Theory a Mexican destroyer to win the match. What I took from watching this, right, was Bron Breakker is suspended. And he is suspended indefinitely. We assume he might be back fairly soon, maybe as early as next week. But right now, nobody knows. In canon, nobody knows when he's going to be back. And this was my problem, by the way, when he lost earlier this month to CM Punk. These guys in the Vision are nothing but henchmen. This isn't a group of main eventers and guys chasing down the world title and hungry to be the guy, as we're being told. These are guys that are just kind of happy to be here and are playing their position. Because if Bronson Reed was as hungry as he claims to be, Austin Theory, who's recently joined, was as hungry as he claims to be, Logan Paul, who was chasing CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship just before he joined the Vision, why isn't anyone saying, okay, well, Bron lost to CM Punk, I want my turn, I'm next, I'm the guy? Or Bron has been suspended, I want my turn, I'm next, I'm the guy. Everyone is just here doing henchman stuff. Same way that Bron was doing henchman stuff when Rollins was around. You know, I want to see a group of hungry young men, like we are claimed to be the Vision, all kind of infighting, you know, that we're scrapping each other to get that opportunity of being the guy. If we look across the road at AEW, we have the Don Callis family, Takeshita, Carl Fletcher, Okada. They're all scrapping to be the guy within one faction. In the Vision, there's too much sitting back and waiting for their turn and waiting for permission and stuff like that. And I don't feel like there's been a compelling story. Imagine now, if like while Bron Breakker's away, Austin Theory's kind of putting himself forward. I'm going to be the guy, blah, blah, blah. Bron returns for suspension and Bron's like, what did you say? Huh? Who's the guy? You want next? What? Like, we need that. We absolutely need that because these guys are all roughly of the same age, chasing the exact same thing, and you told us they're all next. So how do we, you know, without kind of pushing these guys down into tag team and jobbers and stuff, which is happening now, we should maintain the fire amongst all of them. You see what I mean?
Do you know what I think it is? I think the biggest problem here is that they don't know how to tell the story without it denting Bron Breakker's story. And I think that's what they're so afraid of right now. I think with the loss he had to CM Punk, I think with him being suspended, I think for someone to put themselves forward and then look successful, I think would make Bron Breakker look weak. And I think they're so afraid to make him look any weaker than he does right now. Because other than a drone shot of a spear, like he doesn't really do that much on a week-to-week basis anymore, if I'm being honest with you, even when he wasn't suspended. Here is my issue with it. You've got someone like Logan Paul who is now full-time. You've got Austin Theory, two of the most egotistical heels out there. And sometimes they're failing to tell more of that story.
Yeah.
Like, Logan Paul faced Roman Reigns in Saudi for the Universal Championship not too long ago. He's meant to be that guy. Austin Theory faced his idol John Cena at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like, Bronson Reed took Roman Reigns' reps. Like, he snatched his trainers.
Bronson Reed beat Roman Reigns last year.
Yeah.
He beat him in a match, and like he's now ready to play henchman.
This is my problem. Is sometimes I think they book for the there and now, and they don't realize about the detrimental effect it has, because this makes Bronson Reed look like an absolute clown. This makes Logan Paul like here's another weird thing for me, right? This is gonna sound mad, yeah? Bro, you're telling me with all the millions that Logan Paul has, he's walking around with wired headphones on last night. You telling me he don't have a pair of AirPods or Beats or something where he don't need to be wearing wired headphones? Logan Paul, you tell me Logan Paul has iPhone wired headphones? Let's not talk silly.
I don't know, man. It's just a lot of things aren't connecting. Like I'm comparing to AEW. Carl Fletcher lost his TNT championship to Mark Briscoe towards the end of the year. I can't remember the pay-per-view it was in, but it was on a pay-per-view. And he was furious because he expected the rest of the Don Callis family to come down and help him and support him and win the match. Yeah. No one came. And what did he do? He announced himself in a tournament for Okada's belt. And Takeshita announced himself in a tournament for Okada's belt. And these are 3 men within the same faction. Like, everyone wants to be the alpha. Everyone in there is a shark. Like, and I'm saying everyone. We know there's a lot of jobbers in the Don Callis family as well. But, the guys that are being pushed as the guys, Austin Theory, who is relatively still hot from just returning and the angle he's just had. Logan Paul literally wanted the World Heavyweight Championship a week before joining the Vision. Like, these guys should be fighting for this position. And it should be, I don't know if you remember, I can't remember when Rollins got injured, when he was pretending the injury, faking the injury, right? The following week, back in a backstage segment, Bron Breakker said, "I'm the leader of the Vision now."
Yeah.
And even that story, they dropped. And then obviously Rollins came back, won the title, blah, blah, blah. But like, why isn't there a hunger for someone here to step up? Right. Yeah. Bron, I'm sorry you lost to CM Punk, but that's it. You had your chance. If I'm Austin Theory, if I'm Logan Paul, I'm going to Paul Heyman. Make me the guy. I'm the next guy. Asking Adam Pearce, when's my, title match or whatever? There's just too passive. And you're right. It's maybe because it's the focus is on Bron, but Bron can still. People want Bron to break out and be a babyface. Yeah. And you could do that by kind of putting these guys back in their box and saying, "I'm still the guy." Sort of. It's just something more needs to happen with this group.
Do you remember what I said pretty much every time we jump on a podcast about Triple H's booking and how he struggles to build heels? He only can get them so far with the stories that he tells, and I think that's evident with what we're seeing with Division right now. Some people might say we're overreacting. It's one loss in the trios match, but it's just like it's the manner in which they lost, like. The way the match was playing out, I was like, "Oh, it's another Vision victory." Like, I wouldn't have been annoyed by it. I was like, "Oh, the Vision are going to win. It makes sense." But the way the guys didn't make sense at all for me here. And it's just like as great as those luchadors were, like in Rey Mysterio and stuff. Like, they just spent the rest of the night later. They just come back out and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're declaring for the Royal Rumble as well, just like everyone else has tonight."
Yeah. Yeah, this was a nothing win for them, really.
Yeah, like it doesn't make them go anywhere.
They could have lost this match and still entered the Rumble. Yeah. Like, this is a nothing match, but that's why I put it here. This isn't, and they're here, they're the focus, they're the picture, but it just made me really think about the Vision and just think like we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing with this group at all. Yeah. It's a shame. And even if it's not world title, there's other belts available. There's an IC championship and stuff like that. There's a world title on another show that they could go after. Like, there's stuff available, but it's just not clicking. But as you mentioned, these 3 men will be in the Rumble: Rey Mysterio, Penta, and Dragon Lee, which should be really, really fun. They made a little kind of point to say during that commercial segment with Kathy Kelly that this is going to be Dragon Lee's first Royal Rumble, and he's amped for it. Dragon Lee, outside of losing the tag team championships, I think his contract is up soon, and they're doing as much as they can to kind of keep him on side, obviously give him wins, shaking shoulders on next to the guys like Rey Mysterio and stuff like that. They want to keep him. They recognize how big of a talent he is. He's doing some good stuff in AAA as well, and kind of making a point that this is his first Rumble. I feel like, again, this is them saying, sign the ting, stay in the WWE sort of thing.
Sign the contract.
Yeah, he'll have places to go because he's definitely a massive talent. But yeah, we also had a segment where the Judgment Day ladies, they came out. They've got this match at, is it Saturday Night Main Event, where they're going to take on Rhea and Rio for the women's tag team championships, Roxanne and Liv Morgan. And they came out, they were talking about that stuff, but really it was an ambush because Raquel Rodriguez was ready to take out Rhea and Io. They beat up all the girls. They declared themselves for the Royal Rumble. So all of the ladies of the Judgment Day are going for the one position. And this is somewhat adjacent to what we're saying with the Vision. You know, the Vision guys will likely be in the Rumble, but you can see how there's already kind of the slight infighting, just subtly, between especially Raquel and Liv Morgan about becoming a women's champion. You know, there's the hunger's there, sort of thing. So yeah, these three ladies are going to be in the Rumble. Maybe they pick up the tag team championships as well this weekend at Saturday Night Main Event. We shall see. But yeah, how did you see this segment, bro?
Contradiction, bro. Big contradiction, because they start mentioning to Rhea and Io, you know, there's only one spot to be the winner in the Rumble. And then Rhea just kind of looked at them and was just like, well, that exact same point you're making to us, there's three of you and one and two of us. So, you know, there's only ever going to be one winner in the Royal Rumble. So I think it's a bit contradictory. I think here's the thing for me is that Raquel's meant to be in the world title picture, and she looks really weak at the moment in the sense of she's kind of looked like the henchman that's just come out to attack again this week. So yeah, I think I think they need to break her and Liv up. I think that's the only way to sort of resurrect and save Raquel Rodriguez, because I think every time she's in the ring with Liv, and I think even to an extent with Roxanne, because Roxanne is that good, I think sometimes it really starts to have a detrimental effect on how she's portrayed. So I think she's got to start moving in her own direction now. And I think we're going to see that happen in the Royal Rumble when Roxanne and Liv eliminate her together.
I think that they've done a good job with Raquel over the last few weeks, in my opinion. I think what they've done this week, and yeah, she kind of got that kind of henchman role by making the sneak attack. I think that's more so to establish her that she is still part of the Judgment Day, and these are still her girls. So yeah, I can understand what you mean because of the positioning makes it look like that. But I feel like they've made her look strong. Now, ultimately, I don't know if Stephanie Vaquer's having a match at the Rumble at Defense. Obviously, she's quote unquote injured. So Raquel should really just be saying, I want the match, as opposed to entering the Rumble. But yeah, like you said, a bit of a contradiction in terms of what they were kind of threatening Rhea with, and there's actually more of the Judgment Day girls than two Rhea and Io. But yeah, we're now in that, you know, we were joking about, we don't even know if the stadium's going to be ready on time by the time the Rumble comes around. A few people declare themselves. We mentioned the Luchadors declaring themselves. These guys declared themselves. Gunther was about to declare himself. Jey Uso came out and declared himself for the Rumble.
That's what I was going to say. You said a few, bro. I was like, a few, bro. Every time, like, I would say in the first hour, I think close to 10 people declared for the Rumble.
Yeah. We're filling up both Rumbles now. As it should be, you know. So I think it's starting to get exciting. You know, it's something to look forward to because we know it's happening. Like I said, the fear, even though we know, you know, I don't know how much it would have been delayed by, or if they would have just moved it. The fear was, wait, is this actually happening? Because no one's talking about it. But now it's being discussed, it's being talked about. And yeah, even within this segment with Liv Morgan, I can't lie, I'm still very sold that we are looking at the Royal Rumble winner, Liv Morgan. She's been in the final four, I want to say, for like the past 3 to 4 years, if I'm correct. I think they're very heavy on Liv Morgan. She's their girl right now that they're trying to elevate to the status of a four horsewoman, a Rhea Ripley, a Bianca Belair. And I think that Liv Morgan deserves it. I think she's done a lot of hard work to kind of get to where she is. Injuries set her back. She's come back better. She's now somewhat leading a faction. I think the advert where initially when it was Charlotte and Jade and Becky and whoever else was in the advert, and then they've added Liv in since she returned. I think the verbiage of the advert is you never know who's going to sit at the table or something like that. I think that is them hiding in clear sight that Liv Morgan is coming to just win this Rumble, win at WrestleMania, become Women's Champion again. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I like the Judgment Day for all their flaws, and there is plenty of flaws. And we're probably going to talk about Judgment Day as well when we talk about the main event. I do like the Judgment Day. They've been a fixture of TV for what 3-4 years now on WWE TV.
So many different variations of it as well.
Yeah,
and they've told so many stories, mate.
Yeah.
I do you know what? I think Liv Morgan is gold. I think she is gold for that. Do you know what you were saying earlier about how in the men's division they haven't really addressed sort of each other fighting for the same spot. They actually addressed it. Like they addressed it in that promo in the women's division. And here's the thing: I think Chelsea Green said it this week. I saw it in an interview. I can't remember for the life of me where it's from, so don't hate me. But she was saying in the women's division side of things, in the women's locker room, they're all about giving each other an opportunity, taking a pin to put the next person over, like to elevate the next person, because they want to make more stars within the women's division. You can see that big time.
Yeah.
Like you can see that big time. Like if I'm looking from Roxanne Perez post-Mania, so you're talking 8 months, her growth has been nuts. And she hasn't really won anything crazy. Like she hasn't done anything crazy, but just the way in which these women elevate each other in the matches they have, I just think across WWE and AEW, I just think women's wrestling is at an all-time great moment right now. And it's mad to say that we've even got people like Bianca Belair to come back, Naomi. You know what I mean? Like women's wrestling is in such a great spot right now. So I think, I think the Judgment Day is money. Like when it comes to Roxanne and Liv, I think you're looking at two of the bright spots of this past year with WWE. But then I'll also look at them and say that they're part of the future. And like you said, it's those four horsewomen. And Liv is someone who's been at WWE for a very long time now. She has worked her way up from the ground all the way up. She joined in the faction as essentially, I won't sugarcoat it, as side member in this faction, and she's worked her way up from that. And Bill and her character development is just nuts, man. Like I was watching some old WWE stuff recently, and Liv Morgan popped up as part of the Riot Squad.
Yeah,
and I'm looking, I was like, I didn't even recognize her. I'm like, you know what I mean? It don't even look like the same person, but it's just like, it's kudos to her for, just being able to tell her story in the way she has, man. She's been doing great things. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she wins a Rumble, wins a title. I won't be surprised if they put the world title on her while she's tag team champions with Roxanne as well. I honestly wouldn't be surprised. And I think that's how they get rid of Raquel from the Judgment Day in the long run.
Listen, like you mentioned, everything around women's wrestling right now is absolutely blossoming. I always come back to this initial series of WWE Unreal, where we saw Triple H saying backstage, there are 5 good women in NXT to 1 man. Like, these women are coming and they're leaving their ego at the door. They're prepared to listen. They're prepared to take on instruction. And they are clearly blossoming a lot faster than the men, WWE or AEW. Like they are blossoming. They're taking every opportunity. And like you said, they're doing the right thing and putting each other over. There's no ego in it. I think recently as well, there's a story that's come out that WWE are turning more back to recruiting independent wrestlers, as opposed to, making everybody from scratch and all of that kind of stuff. They are turning back to independent wrestlers. I don't need anyone to tell me that's for the men's side of things. They will continue to get collegiate athletes for the women, straight out of college, straight out of universities, from netball, basketball, any other sport, gymnastics.
Or just very raw and green, like you said, like wrestlers, like you said, we like every time people. There's one name that springs to mind. I'm looking at Last Legend. She's gone from literally collegiate athlete to the main roster. I'm looking at your Tiffany Strattons, someone who was so green when she arrived in WWE, won the NXT Women's Championship, won a world title in next to no time. But it's because, like you said, they leave their ego at the door. Like you can see it. Like you can see it in the way they tell each other's stories. Like you can almost feel a lot of tension in the ring when men are saying promos to each other. But with the women, it's almost like they want to make each other do better. Like Liv Morgan, she's happy to be telling this story because she knows probably in the long run this will lead to Raquel Rodriguez ending up with a world title. And she's happy to tell this story in the way that she will because it then puts Raquel up, which in the long run after that, I think Roxanne ends up with the world title.
Yeah.
So this is such a great story to tell with these women because, again, they leave their ego at the door and they're just happy to tell these stories in a great way.
Yeah, it's the men that when they're saying that WWE are changing their recruitment style to go back to independent wrestlers, it's the men. It's that they're gonna go and get men that already have some level of experience, can talk, athletic, and then teach them the WWE way. Because with the women, they know they can teach them from scratch, from day dot. They are turning people that are as green as baby poo into, you know, women's champions and stuff all over the place. So yeah, I think the men especially, they need to buck up their ideas from as low as the PC, LFG, Evolve, NXT, because they're being outrun very soon.
LFG's been an. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it with chest, right? LFG. I'm gonna say it. No, I nearly said what I've been calling it to my boy, and I was like, I don't know. You know what? Fuck it, bro. LFG, load of fucking garbage, bro.
I think it's a good. You know what it is, right?
It's a great concept with poo results, like dead results. Like I'm looking at the people who've been on there. Half the people get released, right? So they spend this entire time building the show with legends, with damn legends they've been taught by. You give them this time to learn their skills, get better. Then what happens is, bro, half of the people, some of them are signed for AEW, some of them are signed for other companies. You spent all this time building these people up. Like some of the people that they had on Evolve and LFG are now like, bro, I look at Dark State. Like, I'm sorry, bro. I go back to him every week, man. I've never seen a brother look so out of place. I've never seen a brother look so out of place.
But he wasn't ready. I think I think I've said this to you before. I think they've literally put him there to sink or swim. He wasn't ready.
He's sinking. Lau, man. Lau, get him out.
100% he's sinking. But like, I think it's more like, okay, well, we'll give him a chance. And if he doesn't take the chance, then that's it, sort of thing. I think LFG is a good version of Tough Enough. Because ultimately, it's just from the same school as Tough Enough. This actually makes sense as opposed to having people run obstacle courses. I'm not going to be running obstacle courses at WrestleMania. So
John Morrison running obstacle courses, like, bro, the geezer does like.
This makes sense. LFG makes sense, and it makes sense. It's in the same kind of universe as Evolve and all this other stuff. But yes, I would agree that so far, even the winners, you know, granted they're all literally still learning, but even they're not kind of making me turn my head and think, okay, wow, we've got one here.
I think they've got two good people to come out of Evolve, right? One man and one woman, right?
Come out of where? Evolve.
Yeah, in terms of the past year.
But that's not LFG.
No, but this is what I'm saying. Is like LFG was meant to push them into something like Evolve, which would then lead them into the WWE.
Yeah.
Whereas the path seems completely discombobulated, bro. Like, I'm looking at I look at Kendall. I think she's great. I think she's been a great addition to NXT. I think she's been good. Yeah. But I think she's she was way above Evolve when she even arrived there. I think.
Yeah.
Like way. The other person I think, bro, I'm looking at someone like a Sean Legacy, right? He is someone who does a lot of work on social media. Play on that more. Like, you've got this opportunity with these very green people that you can, you know, push a lot more into, like, they say all the time they want to build these people, right? You have got these male people, like these male talent who are trying their best to get their name out there. Do something more with it. because now is the perfect time in NXT. Some of their biggest names have gone up to the main roster. Like, now is the time to give these men an opportunity to tell a story. So, yeah, I'm excited for NXT for the next few weeks because it's like we're at the stage of passing of the torch. So yeah, I don't know who's going to be stepping up. Obviously, Ricky Saints has got a lot to say as per usual. So yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting few weeks ahead, man.
Just to kind of wrap this up, the likes of the people you mentioned, Sean Legacy, for sure, that guy's been on the indies. So that guy is a professional wrestler. WWE never made that guy. And he's on the ID thing as well. So he's not even a full WWE talent right now. But Sean Legacy and Kendall Gray were literally put on Evolve so people would watch Evolve. Like, WWE aren't stupid. They know how good the people are and how ready they are. Those two are basically the coaches that are going to help others in matches and, you know, get people to watch Evolve. So
the blueprint essentially for how they're going to make
100%, 100%. But it's Raw we're talking about. So let's get back to Raw. Let's wind it up with the main event, which I was so happy with this main event. I thought this was a pay-per-view WWE, let me state that, WWE caliber pay-per-view match, you know, main event even, between two grizzled guys, Finn Balor with a reception to absolutely die for. It was so loud in there. He missed the cue to do his little entrance, pop hands up and stuff like. And this isn't even home for him. He's from Republic of Ireland, not Northern Ireland, you know. But it was just a proof to me. You know, we make a lot of noise as fans, push the younger guy, this, that, and the other, blah blah blah. But at Finn Balor 44, CM Punk 47 years old, they put on a match like that. This is why these younger boys have to kind of wait their turn, sit in a box and wait, because given the time, given the experience, given the atmosphere, like, this was brilliant. I've been with Finn for a long time, so I wasn't in the brigade that a lot of people have jumped into following this match. But since this match, I've seen a lot of people saying, put the title on Balor, bring back babyface Balor. This is the guy, take him out of the Judgment Day, all of this kind of stuff, which is great to see. Is it too late? Maybe.
No.
But I want it to happen. Don't get me wrong. But, like, does the office think it's too late? So I say maybe the office does think it's too late. But if there's any way to kind of kickstart a push towards that, you use this as an absolute catalyst to get there and get Balor back to where he should be.
I think they're going to do something magical with this. I'm so excited, bro.
I hope so.
This is what I think is going to happen, right? My prediction is Judgment Day get angry at Finn for shaking hands with CM Punk. Finn declares to the Royal Rumble. Dom comes back at the Royal Rumble. Finn eliminates Dom, right? He ends up winning the IC title off of Dom. Then I think next year, we see Finn Balor win a world title. I think this is going to be, I think, to build him back up the card, win the IC, then go on into the main event scene, and eventually end up as world champion again. Because that reaction last night for me, I know it's in Ireland. Like, I get it's in Ireland, bro. When that old theme hit, Jesus Christ, oh my God. I threw a gun sign at my TV at 8 p.m. So 10:30 p.m. in the evening at that point. I threw a gun sign at my TV. I was like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Honestly.
Triple H, this is the blueprint of it. Don't always need to be the crazy stuff. You don't always need to do the most exuberant product. Yeah. You don't have to put on the craziest TV. Sometimes you just need some absolute G's to throw it down in the ring. That's what we got, boy. Bro, do you know what the thing was for me? I'm looking at Finn Balor. I'm like, this guy's just too good. Like, I don't think any. Do you know, like, he's good. You know, everyone talks about them footballers. It's just like the streets will never forget. Yeah, that is Finn Balor in wrestling for me. The streets, like, realistically, he should have 10 world titles to his name plus.
Honestly,
yeah, but he's also like, it's also not just the things he does in ring, right? If you go back to when Dom won the IC title at Mania, the camera angle that a lot of people didn't see, and it's been revealed by a lot of people who are in the crowd, is Finn Balor telling Dom Mysterio to get back in the ring and to soak the moment in.
Yeah.
That is the kind of person with it. He has done so much for helping someone like a Dom Mysterio, who people heap like crazy amounts of praise on. And Dom says how much Finn has helped him. So I don't just think about him in the sense of what he does in the ring. I think about the bigger picture. I think Finn Balor's the damn truth, and he has been for 15 years.
He's been one of my favorite wrestlers for such a long time. Like when I first started watching New Japan back in 2011, 2012, I took to Finn Balor because he was the only person speaking English. So, okay, cool. I can understand that guy. So him, and then obviously the Bullet Club boys around him at the time, like those become your guys sort of thing. And then I see the matches he's putting on. And then when they brought him over to NXT as this smiling baby face, I was like, you lot are missing a trick here. You don't know what my man is doing over there. You've got him here smiling, and obviously Vince loved him, and because he looked clean cut, great body, great physique, and he's smiling. People will love him. Like, I got it, but like, you don't know what you're missing with this guy. And even the promo he cut before this match, with Jackie backstage, where he was like, "Oh, like I'm not leaving. I want to leave here dead if I don't win the world title." He said something to that effect, like, "I'm not leaving here without the world title." Like, and the crowd were just so up for it. And yes, granted, it was Ireland. He's on home turf, but he would get that reaction if you made him this kind of fired up, gassed baby face anywhere with his music. He wrestled that match like his life depended on it. Like the speed of him, and granted, he's lost a step. He's not, 15 years younger or anything like that. Yeah. He's not as quick, but he was still moving relatively quickly around that ring with urgency, getting up to the top rope, delivering coup de grace, up again. Like, it's hard because not everyone can be world champion. I hear that. If we start naming who the next world champions, people would name, some people want to see Jey Uso again. Some people want to see LA Knight for the first time. There's names there that are still climbing to achieve this accolade and stuff. But they recognized Balor was the guy on day one of when he joined the main roster back in 2016. Yeah. And unfortunately, he got injured and he's never sniffed it again. Like, this is someone that we need to rectify that situation from 10 years
He is like the Steven Gerrard of WWE, right? I'm just going to put it out there. He is the Steven Gerrard of WWE. Honestly. And I'm sorry to say that too, because he's a Spurs fan, isn't it? So you might even call him like a Ledley King, someone who just
Harry Kane.
He is Harry Kane.
he done everything, but he didn't win the big one. He's Harry Kane.
Like always on point as well. Do you know what I mean? And I think, bro, I look at his career and I'm like, and I'm not just talking about what he done in WWE, and I'm not just talking about what he done in New. I'm thinking collectively the print that this guy has left on the industry. I think he's a Hall of Famer in 2, if not 3. Like, he's a Hall of Famer in NXT, he's a Hall of Famer in New Japan, and he's a Hall of Famer in WWE. Like, and I don't think anyone can argue with that. But when you look at his resume, it might not highlight the level of impact that this guy had. Like, we're looking, like, we speak about Samoa Joe. Like, we've spoken about Samoa Joe and how great Samoa Joe was for the industry. The guy after Samoa Joe for me that made an impact like that is Finn Balor.
Yeah. I think, to your point, it was a great point. I think in New Japan, he might be top 5 gaijins ever, like foreigners. If he's
top 3,
Will Ospreay, you have Ospreay, you have Omega, you have AJ Styles, Balor, maybe Switchblade, Jay White. You can choose your top 3 from there, but he's within that 5, right? In NXT, he is the most successful NXT wrestler of all time. Like, they have to bring him back and make him world champion again in NXT because he's
just to let everyone know.
Yeah, like and it made so much sense. His second run with the title was better than the first. Like, he's so good. And on the main roster, that's all he's really missing. He's won all the mid-card titles, he's won the tag team titles and stuff. It's just this actual world title run that he now needs before he can kind of call it a day. And we're talking about people calling it a day with AJ Styles at the top of the show. He's not too far behind AJ Styles in age. He's only about 3 3, maybe 4 years younger than AJ Styles. So, you know,
scary to think, man.
Yeah, we have to be thinking if we're going to do this for others, we need to start preparing.
The guy still has 0% body fat though as well. Like, it's nuts.
It was great. And just to obviously talk about Punk before we finish, I thought Punk played his part very well. He got a really good reception. He wasn't like just straight out booed. It wasn't like a hostile environment. The promo that Punk cut with Jackie Redmond as well backstage, he done this like last week or 2 weeks ago. It's really giving sports, and I love it. It's really giving just like, yeah, I got my back against the wall. I'm coming to the away teams, you know.
It's giving halftime NBA interviews. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Really
so how do you think the first half went? It's just like, yeah, well, I think, you know, we've got to step things up in the second half.
Honestly, like it's good. It's good and it works, and it feels very pro wrestling. And yeah, he put on a really good performance as well. You know, we know he's not a spring chicken. He put on a really good performance, and yeah, I think both men just deserved that spot. They made it work, and hopefully, like we're all saying now, this can spiral into something great for Finn. CM Punk another notch in this world title run, so you're making the world title run look even bigger, making that belt look more important. I would definitely say, just to close off here, with maybe CM Punk at the helm with this belt, we have closed the gap between the WWE Undisputed Championship and this World Heavyweight Championship. I don't feel like anyone's really looking at we know the WWE belt is the belt, but like I don't think that people are talking about it anymore in terms of this is the secondary title.
And you know what it is? It's not necessarily like, you know, like people say in terms of a run, it has to be like a length-free run, and you know, it has to change the industry, etc., etc. Like, you know, how Roman Reigns did for the Universal Championship.
Yeah.
The reason that Punk's run is like elevating the title is the matches that's been happening on this run. Like, I think it's going under the radar a lot. I honestly think it's going under the radar a lot. Like, if this was Roman Reigns putting on these matches, I think people would be losing their damn mind. Honestly, because it's like you're saying, like the two guys last night had a combined age of nearly 50. Nearly 100.
Nearly 100. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like that's crazy. And they're putting on matches like that. Like, here's the thing that I always say, yeah. If you are going to say something, say it with chest and damn believe it. When CM Punk says he's the best in the world at what he does, how can you not believe him anymore? But I also think that Finn Balor isn't too far behind in being the best at what he does, because these are two men who I think 10 years apart changed the industry with their runs on the indies. And then they end up in WWE and end up telling such a beautiful story. But yeah, I hope and pray by the end of 2027 that we get a Finn Balor title run, because he really does deserve it. If I would love for him to have a few short title reigns, but I you know what I'm going to say? I don't think Triple H will do it because I don't believe in this guy anymore.
There's just a queue, man. There's just an absolute queue of talent that deserve it. Like,
do you think that's detrimental to like how WWE's booking has been? Because I was discussing it with my friend recently, and what we were speaking about is just like, because they've built up so many people now, and because of the age of social media, people getting far more popularity than, say, the mid card and the people that weren't in title scenes before. Do you think that's having a detrimental effect on how these like world title runs are going? Because it's like you're saying, there's such a big queue of people. Like, LA Knight is someone who is consistently, his name is thrown in the hat. And I think most people, if he was in any other company, he would have had a few world title runs already. Someone like Logan Paul, even, it's just like a lot of people said like Logan Paul will become world champion one day, but it's just like that queue so long. Will that day ever come?
Yeah, I think for some, like, I think a Finn would have accepted at this point that this may not happen again. Like, it may not happen again, even though last night was a showing of I still very much can become world champion at any point you need me. LA Knight, I think, is more of an inevitable. It's going to happen more so than a Finn Balor. A Logan Paul, I think, will happen as well, but he's got a bit more time on his side. So yeah, I think it's just like everyone's kind of got a ticket. You walk into the world title room if you like, or you pull a ticket and you just wait for your turn, sort of thing. But certain man like Finn Balor last night, he forced his hand. It's almost like I took someone else's ticket as well. Like, you know,
It snatched that ticket. Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly that. So it's difficult, man. This is why we always say there's so much good wrestling. Being a good wrestler is not enough. Like, you have to be a great storyteller. You have to
threat.
connect the
You have to
crowd.
be
You
the
have to do all of that stuff. Yeah. Like, it's being a good wrestler is just not enough. So yeah, I want to see Balor achieve those. You know, I want to get my day where I can celebrate Finn Balor as a WWE World Champion, and it doesn't last one day. I want to be there for all the title defenses and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah,
here's the thing for me, Mekz, right? If you're gonna have Dom Mysterio become world champion, yeah, and his dad's gonna be retired by the time he wins that world title, if there's any other person that should be in the ring facing him for said world championship, it has to be Finn Balor. I think if Dom's first world title run is going to hit as much as we all are, you know, anticipating it to, if he does that against Finn Balor at Mania, I think whatever stadium in the world you're in, that stadium would erupt. And I think that's the story they need to tell with this.
Yeah. I think
another person in the queue.
yeah. I think what we're building towards on the AAA shows is potentially Rey Mysterio beating Dom Mysterio for the Mega Championship.
Yeah.
But like, to your point, I think if we can get to a point where we can make Finn Balor a world champion, Dom Mysterio should beat Finn Balor for the title. And that kind of pays off this Judgment Day story long term. But yeah, we got to get Balor as champion first.
And you know the biggest problem of all, right?
Well, Triple H.
Mr. Paul himself.
Well, I don't know about you, but I've watched episode 1 of Unreal season 2 this morning.
I'm about to watch it right after we go off recording this.
We will come back later this week with I guess a review of the series and see what we think of it. But yeah, let's see what Triple H has in store to tell us of what we've been seeing in the last 6 months of TV.
Who's getting a rocket strapped to them this time? We'll review it all later this week.
But yeah, guys, those are your top 5 most important things from Monday Night Raw. As always, let us know down below in the comments what you thought and what you thought of Raw. We are on the road to Saturday Night Main Event and, of course, Royal Rumble. So we'll touch base with those shows as well, deliver some predictions and stuff in due time. And yeah, we'll be back later this week with AEW Dynamite review as well. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you on the next one. WrestleManiac UK signing out. I'll see you soon.